Why, hello there. I am back on my page today and very excited about this. So hello, everybody. If you are on, please let me know. I'm talking about bringing life and fun into your vision and plan. And I talked yesterday about task initiation, which is the beginning of tasks. I've talked a lot about executive functioning because if maybe you didn't all know this, I've done coaching, but in 7 years past, I've been doing education consulting, coaching with teams, and a lot with working with kids with autism, but really the brain and psychology, and even in special education and in my studies, I've always looked at psychology and the brain, as well as now the last 4 years of looking at counseling, the brain, trauma, response systems, neurobiology, all the fun stuff that I love. And in this interesting part is this: when we have these different things happen, and I call it individual experiences, family generational experiences, things not dealt with or dealt with, it all comes together. And what it impacts is life and fun. Literally, I just a backstory, because I'm on here talking about this stuff. I spent a lot of my life not having fun. I did when I was little, but when we're kids, there's so much that we have as children. We unlock so much. We have freedom. Kids just go explore, right? We don't think too much about what we're doing. And that's childlike. That's that childlike stuff that happens when we're little. And so if you're watching, I'd love for you to say hi, put a heart, something. But in this childlikeness, we had fun. And then sometimes things happen and it impacts our fun and our life. And we have keys, I call them keys, when we're young kids, of the things we dreamed about. I used to dream and I'd have lyrics and I'd have songs and I'd write scripts and I'd write plays. And I wonder what you did. What did you do when you were younger? Did you do that? Like what are the things that sometimes come to mind? Oh, I always wanted to play in the band, or I always wanted to cook, or I always wanted to do X, Y, Z. And we hear it in children today and we're like, what do you want to do? And they're everything. They're exploring, they're learning, they're thinking about themselves or what they want to do. And so in this, I really struggled with this. I lost a lot of my dreams. I was always sad. I'm like, I know there's more, but I don't know how to get to the more. And I was shut down. I didn't know how to get unstuck. Spent years, probably I'd say in 2010 through probably 2000 through 2020 or so, crying. I didn't know how to release any of the affect or any of my cognition or any of my mindsets. And so I didn't know how to get out of it. Sometimes I'd cry or I'd be like, just didn't know what to do. I knew there was more for me. I knew there was more. And so I spent all this time, and I'm a visionary, right? I love to move ahead. And so when you have people, and maybe you can relate to this, you want to move forward, you know there's good dreams, you know there's things out there, you know you want to help many people. And I just was stuck. I didn't know how to get out. I would cry, and then all these things would happen. I'd have so many losses. I'd have lots of friendship. I misunderstood. People didn't get me. And maybe you can relate to this, but I didn't understand. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to release all of these thinking or what to do with it. And so that's how I spent a lot of my life. And then as I started to do the healing journey, started to heal and reshift my brain and my thinking, release the new cognition, the new neural pathways, and new brain stuff, what happens is in the brain, my cognition, all of my executive functionings, which are brain functions, there's about 11 or 12, and different researchers have different, but I really like Dawson and Guire, 2009. They have an amazing survey. And what they do is they look at our strengths and our areas of growth. And our brain can shift in different areas with strategies, tools, and really even just a reshifting of our brain. And so what happened is, as I started to shift, a lot of those executive functionings that were not strengths were really my strengths, but I had healing that needed to happen. And what happened as a result of it was I started to get vision. I started to get words. I started to get the dreams back. I started to realize that all the stuff I wanted to do when I was a little girl, like little things, like I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be in Hollywood. I wanted to be singing. I loved that. And I hid it all. I never got that out when I was younger. I did, but I couldn't. I didn't know how, right? And so during that time, that's what happened, was all these dreams were stuck. Things that I was designed to do, born as this woman I am to do in this world. And maybe you are listening and thinking the same thing. What is it that you have put down? And so what I do when I talk about fun in life, right? Because fun in life are all those dreams and things that we have our heart on, our heart's desires inside. And I started to realize, whoa, even now, I had these dreams as a kid, and these are going to come to fruition. I'm believing these unfulfilled promises coming forth, even for you, that there are dreams and passions. So one thing I do when I do coaching, I love coaching because it's empowering people to move forward and breaking out of the old. And so one thing that happens in this story time is I started to get my map and vision. I started to have more fun. I started to realize that there's more to it. And one thing was looking at the brain. So I started to look at what are my strengths in executive functioning and what are areas of growth. And from there, I created, it's a life map. It's 15 areas that I call it, in different areas of health that lead to our prosperity, of our healing. And what happens is those 15 areas I have clients go through, they identify their areas of strength there and things that they've always wanted, maybe from childhood till now. And then we make it even smaller. And then we create this amazing life map that they get to create their own from what I give them as like in the design and graphics. And they get to identify their mission and vision for themselves and their goals coming up, which can shift as they're shifting. And it's a beautiful thing because we get through so much healing that by the time they get there, they're in a different, more niche down, more shifted position to realize the life and fun, the abundance and the life and fun that is ahead for them. No matter how old you are, 20, 30, 60, 80, there is still time to live out everything you were called and designed to be abundantly in the fullness of it all. And so I have this amazing design. So part of my one coaching deluxe package is in that. And my heart for that is that we're going through so much depth that when they get to these things, we are mapping out exactly where they're going. And I've had clients say, wow, you know how to really cut it down. And I do. I know how to really cut it down so that they get exactly where they're going and it fits who they are. And it's beautiful because they have it. So if things change, or if they want to add something to it, they can add to those things, those different pieces to make it as they continue to shift their goals. And it's such a beautiful thing to have that because it's a reminder on the days where you're plowing and you're moving ahead, or you're having a day where you're wanting to, it reminds you, where am I going? What's my why? What's my how? Who am I? And what am I called to no matter what's happening? And even today was one of those days where I'm like, I'm keeping my eyes focused ahead, that there are good things coming. Empowering myself as I empower other clients, empower other people, empowering you. That even when things are coming, when we have our how and why, when we have our life mapped, and we have things that are so precious to us and significant, you'll move forward. You'll move forward into who you are. And so I wanted to come on because that task initiation part comes back into this. When I know who I am, my why and how, when I know who I am, when I know what I'm passionate about, and I know my design, I'm going to move forward. Even when I'm plowing things ahead, I'm going to move forward because there's good stuff ahead. There's good things ahead. And so that's one of the unique things I do is take in the brain. What are the areas that we need? What are the areas of growth, and where do we want to focus on that growth, and how do we put this together so that you can propel ahead? And it's probably one of my favorite things to do as I move forward. So I wanted to come on here and encourage you. Perhaps today you have put down your dreams, or perhaps today you didn't initiate something or not sure how to initiate tasks. Well, guess what? Today's the day that you pick up where you left off. Today's the day that you sit down and say, where am I going? Who am I? And what is it moving ahead? What is it moving forward? And there's a good stuff moving forward. You have good plans ahead. Good plans ahead as you continue to move ahead. You want to keep moving forward. And there's fun and there's life, and knowing what you're going towards. And that's the fun part. So when you're knowing who you are, and even just figuring it out. And once you even get it, it's like there's still fun in figuring out, okay, how am I moving? Like, what am I going on? What path am I moving into? And so fun and life comes into that. It's sort of fun because you're not always sure, right? We're walking ahead, but we don't always see everything as we move forward. So I'm just encouraging you that as you have words, and once you have that, your little mission and vision for yourself, it's always fun seeing people's eyes light up and them just light up, knowing, oh, this is my vision. This is where I'm moving ahead. And this is all the stuff I used to love to do. And for me, I put it all back. And now I'm like, everything's coming back up at this season of my life. I'm like, yes, this is who I am, right? Just getting all these different confirmations. And hopefully for you in your life, you're getting confirmation, say, this is my design, right? And for me as a woman, my design and who I am and how I move forth to empower other people. And all of us as humans, we want to help people. We want to empower people. So I wanted to come on to encourage you that even today, no matter what, you might be like, woo, having this great, awesome day, or maybe perhaps you're like, ugh, it's a little like you're pushing through something. I want to come on and just say, keep going, because what's ahead is greater than where you are. And you just keep going forward one step at a time and cheering you on. So certainly get those initiate those tasks today, allow your brain to shift, know that you have what's in you, the gold in you is coming out, and know that you're aligning yourself to your purposes and to helping other people, and to move ahead, move forward in direction, knowing that you are taken care of. So if you're watching this later, would love if you have questions, would love to hear about some of your little dreams or things that you're doing, things that your heart's on, because sometimes our heart purposes are along the way, right? The little 5-year-old me was like, oh, I put this away, or I put this away, and it's all coming back up. And so I want to encourage you that here I am, years later, decades later, saying, yeah, I'm picking that back up. And sometimes we get words, but we didn't believe it at the time. So maybe you had a word, you heard something, and you just said, no, that's not true. And now pick it back up, because we're part of it. We have to actually agree with it. We have to actually pull it down and move forward into where we're going. So if you're watching this, there's so much life ahead of you. I feel like I'm starting my life all over, literally today, as I move into some new things, and to keep going, that you have what it takes to keep going and have people. I always have people like, right, our little lifelong and lifeline friends, people that I know I can go to and say, hey, this is what's going on. That's important. You want safe people and people that you love and people that will encourage you and people that are cheering you on, because our hearts are so important. So in this season, your heart may be full of love, that you may cheer yourself and cheer others on, because we are all amazing. So have a great day, life and fun. Hopefully do something fun. Watch a funny video if you're having a hard time. I just had to do that earlier. And allow yourself to keep going no matter what, knowing that there's good ahead. There's good ahead. All right. If you have anything to say, I would love to see it. Sometimes I don't always see in the comments, but thanks all for watching. And if you didn't get to see the whole thing, you can catch it. I talked about the fun in life and the life mapping that I do, and how to really propel people into who they're called and release them into who they're called to be. So I'll have more on that this week. I have some great clarity on things with as I'm moving forward, and excited to share with all of you, and excited to hear what you're doing, because again, knowing who you are leads to what you do. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.